Halo, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am here, Fahmi Farizi. I'm gonna present about Marxism theory approach. Okay, let's check it out. Okay, Marxist criticism on Disney's movie named Cinderella. A introduction. Cinderella is a movie released in 1950 and produced by Walt Disney was based on European folktale about a young woman who suffered from cruelty of her mother and stepsisters. Later on, she tried to change her fate in one night. Cinderella had many versions when it comes to folktale. The most popular version was written in French in 1697 under the name Cinderellion. The popularity of his tale was due to his addition to the story, including the fairy tale godmother and the introductions of glass slippers, which has adapted by Walt Disney in animation film. Marx's ideologies can help us to analyze this movie. The story behind this film was a portrait of such cultural reference at the time, the aristocrat system that led to country or kingdom, and how the society see what is the meaning of life. These points were interesting to analyze because this film depicted the social ideology views at the time. It is most likely that this film had a strong implication of Marx ideology toward the society, how the class struggle between people to change their current state, how people are being classed, and how the false consciousness works. In this essay, the writer would analyze those aspects, how the movie depicted Marx ideologies. It was Disney's animated film and one of the most recognizable films of all time. Many generations have seen this film, and with Marxist criticism towards the movie, we can understand more about the movie. It made Cinderella more than just a fairy tale. I hope that we could appreciate and see what lies beneath the story of this phenomenal fairy tale. Okay, next. B. Literary Review. Marxism. Karl Marx was born in Trier, Germany on May 5th, 1880. Marxism is an ideology based on the concept of Karl Marx. Marx composed major theories related the economic system, social system, and the political system. His ideology was spread throughout the world. People who follow this ideology call themselves Marxists. Here are some of his theory. 1. Class struggle. The most common issue in Marxism is the class struggle. In the eyes of Marx, class struggle will never end. As Karl Marx said, the history of man is actually a history of class struggle. Proletarian bourgeois relationship is a relationship of a conflict. The dominant subordinate. Karl Marx said that one day the proletariat will realize their common interests so that they unite and revolt. 2. Class and status. The development of capitalism divides people into two classes: one who controls and owns the means of production, called the bourgeois, and the other one who doesn't have the means of production, called proletariat. People were divided by class in this made huge differentiation towards social behavior of people and how people see themselves as a society, power distribution, and what was the major role of these classifications. 3. False consciousness. False consciousness refers to a certain state of thinking that prevents a person from perceiving the true nature of their social situation. Proletariat have false consciousness due to their condition of being oppressed and ruled by bourgeois. They often do not know that they have been oppressed all along by the ruler. False consciousness blinded their mental state to freedom themselves from oppression of the rule class. The writer uses library research in order to analyze the Cinderella movie. Library research is a research method that involves identifying and locating sources that provide factual information or personal or expert opinion on research questions, necessary component of every other research method at some point. The writer uses some books and internet sources as references that related to this essay, which include literary criticism and film studies. The writer also uses objective approach in this essay. This approach will help the writer to analyze the movie. It will help to analyze the character in the film and the type of the shot they use by the director. The most important thing in this approach is the analysis must be complete in an objective way. And next, D. Marxism on Disney's movie Cinderella, 1950. The essence of Marxism can be found in a lot of scenes. Scene 1. There was a scene where Cinderella's stepsister humiliated Cinderella, who wanted to go to the ball. They mocked Cinderella by mimicking her and the prince dancing. This scene implied how her sisters oppressed Cinderella. Cinderella cannot go to the ball because she was considered as a person not worthy for such kind of privileges to meet the prince and attend to the ball. This is a way to keep the proletariat down. Cinderella insists to attend the ball because it was her right, and by that royal decree, she proved that she is qualified for that ball. On the other hand, her sister kept mocking her and said that she cannot go to the ball. This is what happens in real life. Also, for someone who was born in poor family cannot have the same privilege as someone who was born in honorable of rich families, even though they are the same. Scene 2. We can see Cinderella was sad that she cannot go to the ball and disappointed that she cannot meet with the prince. She was very sad. This was also an example how Cinderella was a depiction of a proletariat blinded by her false consciousness. She was dreaming how was it like to be on that ball and how was it like to her dream to achieve her ambitions. Right now, we're gonna talk about scene 3. There is a scene where Cinderella was mourning after her dress was being ripped off by her sister, and she was very sad that she could not go to the ball even if she was being helped by her mice and birds friends. She was broken inside knowing that she could not go to the ball. This was an example of her false consciousness. She thought that everything would end and her world start to fall apart just because she could not attend the ball. The idea that she must have a good life by living like a bourgeois leading her to a dream that breaks her. Indeed, we must have a dream to achieve something in life, but to think that our current life is not good and setting up parameters same as bourgeois to live life, it was a false consciousness. Right now, we arrive at the conclusion. Cinderella was a movie that has surprised generations. All of the people in the world has already seen the movie. Some of them fell in love by the drama, and some of them see this movie as something more. A movie with such heavy marks, ideologies lies beneath these characters. Cinderella told us about the social class and how they struggle in order to achieve their goal of life, how the social system was established in the movie. Even by seeing the interaction between the animal, we could see how the interaction and conflict between two opposing sides, proletariat and bourgeoisie, how people and Cinderella was blinded by their own false consciousness. Most importantly, after analyzing Marx's ideologies within Cinderella, we could say this movie shows us we must free ourselves from the chains of class and live life like we want it. Thank you. I am Fahmi Farizi. The last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.